You wake up, look in the mirror, and something is mismatched. Not your face but the story behind it. The labels you've carried for years still sit on your shoulders. The role, the mistake, the version of you that fit an older life. Now picture this: the world doesn't change first, you do. One decision updates the lens and every next moment starts to look different. What if the identity you repeat in your head is simply outdated data? In the next minutes, you'll learn how to spot it, remove it, and step forward as the person you choose today. No waiting for perfect timing, no permission slips, just a reset you control. Our identity is like the lens through which we perceive the world around us. It's a combination of beliefs, values, memories, experiences, and expectations that we hold about ourselves. And just like any lens, it can either help us see clearly or distort the reality we experience. The problem is, many of us walk through life with an outdated version of this lens, a version that no longer reflects who we are becoming or who we truly wish to be. This outdated identity limits our potential and keeps us stuck in a reality that doesn't serve our highest self. But what if you could update this identity? What if you could peel away the layers of old beliefs, old fears, and old stories that have defined you, and step into a more aligned version of yourself? Many of us get caught in the illusion that our identity is fixed, that it is somehow set in stone. We believe that who we are today is who we'll always be, trapped by the past, by our upbringing, by the things we've been taught. This is a powerful illusion because it shapes our thoughts, our actions, and ultimately, our reality. But this belief in a fixed identity is exactly what keeps us from manifesting the life we truly desire. If we believe that we are stuck in a certain version of ourselves, we remain in a state of resistance. We create a self-fulfilling prophecy where our actions and thoughts are limited by the identity we've built around our past. Take a moment and think about the identity you hold. How does it define you? Do you identify with your past mistakes, your failures, or the roles others have assigned to you? Many of us identify with the stories we've been told, either by our families, society, or even by ourselves. These stories, these labels, are often built on experiences from our past, and they hold us back from stepping into the limitless potential that exists within us. This is where the concept of quantum manifestation comes in. In quantum physics, reality is not as solid and fixed as we perceive it. Instead, reality is fluid and influenced by the energy and consciousness we bring to it. Our beliefs, thoughts, and emotions have the power to influence the world around us. The same principle applies to the way we shape our identity. When we hold on to outdated beliefs or identify with a version of ourselves that no longer serves us, we attract experiences that reflect those beliefs. In contrast, when we release these outdated versions of ourselves and begin to consciously shift our identity, we shift our reality. This doesn't mean ignoring the past or pretending it never happened. It means choosing to no longer let the past dictate who we are today. It's about reclaiming the power to create a new version of yourself, one that is aligned with your higher self, your true purpose, and your deepest desires. Think about the person you want to become. What does that person look like? How does that person act? How do they think? The first step in updating your identity is to become aware of the gaps between who you are now and who you wish to be. When you visualize this future version of yourself, what do you notice? Is there a sense of confidence, abundance, and peace? Do you see a person who has overcome their fears, stepped into their power, and is fully aligned with their purpose? Now ask yourself, what is stopping you from stepping into that version of yourself today? What beliefs do you hold about yourself that are keeping you stuck in your current reality? Maybe you believe you're not good enough, or maybe you believe you'll never be successful. Maybe you've been conditioned to think that you have to work hard to earn success, or that you're not worthy of the abundance and happiness you desire. These beliefs are the old identity speaking, the outdated version of you. The truth is, none of these beliefs are permanent. They were created in the past by experiences that no longer define you. You have the power to release them and step into a more expansive, empowered version of yourself. The key to doing this is in your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. When you begin to think, feel, and act as the person you wish to become, you begin to shift your identity. But how do you do this? How do you update your identity in a practical, tangible way? Start by becoming aware of the beliefs you currently hold about yourself. These beliefs may not always be obvious. They might be buried deep in your subconscious, operating silently in the background, influencing the choices you make without you even realizing it. Take some time to reflect on your life and ask yourself, what stories am I telling myself about who I am? Are these stories helping me grow, or are they limiting my potential? Once you identify the outdated beliefs, it's time to challenge them. Ask yourself, is this belief really true? Does it reflect who I am today, or is it simply a story from my past? Often, the beliefs that limit us are rooted in fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. But fear is not an accurate reflection of who we truly are. It's simply a conditioned response to past experiences. By questioning and challenging these beliefs, you can begin to break free from the limitations they impose. The next step in updating your identity is to consciously choose new beliefs that align with the person you want to become. This is where the power of quantum manifestation comes into play. When you shift your beliefs, you begin to shift your energy, and when your energy shifts, your reality shifts. If you believe you are worthy of success, abundance, and happiness, you will start to attract experiences that reflect those beliefs. Visualization is a powerful tool in this process. When you visualize the person you want to become, you create a mental image of your future self. The more vividly you can imagine this version of yourself, the way they walk, talk, and feel, the more you begin to align your energy with that future self. You can also use affirmations to reinforce these new beliefs. Repeating positive statements such as "I am worthy of success," "I am confident and capable," and "I am aligned with my highest purpose" helps to reprogram your subconscious mind. Another powerful tool in shifting your identity is emotional alignment. Our emotions are a reflection of our thoughts and beliefs, so when we begin to feel more aligned with our higher self, we start to change our inner state. Practice feeling gratitude, joy, and peace in your daily life. These high vibrational emotions help to shift your frequency and attract experiences that match the person you are becoming. It's important to remember that updating your identity is not an overnight process. It takes time, patience, and consistent effort. But every step you take toward releasing outdated beliefs and embracing a new version of yourself brings you closer to your true potential. As you shift your identity, you will begin to notice changes in your external reality, new opportunities, new relationships, and new experiences that reflect the person you are becoming. Ultimately, updating your identity is about embracing who you truly are at the core, a powerful, limitless being capable of creating the life you desire. When you align your inner world with the truth of your highest self, the outer world has no choice but to reflect that alignment. This is the essence of quantum manifestation, the ability to create your reality by shifting your thoughts, beliefs, and identity. Now, imagine waking up every day as the person you truly wish to be. Imagine feeling confident, aligned, and at peace with who you are. Imagine creating the life you've always dreamed of, without the limitations of the past holding you back. This is not just a possibility, it is your birthright. The only thing standing between you and the life you desire is the outdated version of your identity. And once you choose to update it, everything else will follow. Are you ready to step into the version of yourself that is already waiting for you? Our identity is the foundation of everything we experience. It is the blueprint we live by, a set of beliefs, assumptions, and expectations that guide our actions and interactions with the world. We don't often think about it, but the identity we carry shapes every moment of our lives, whether we realize it or not. It influences the choices we make, the opportunities we pursue, and the way we perceive ourselves and others. But what happens when this identity no longer aligns with who we are or who we're meant to become? What happens when the lens we've been looking through distorts the truth of our potential? At a fundamental level, our identity dictates our reality. Our beliefs create our perception of the world, and in turn, the world we perceive becomes the world we live in. This is where the science of quantum physics comes into play. It tells us that the universe is not a solid, fixed entity but rather a dynamic, interconnected web of possibilities. Just as particles in quantum mechanics exist in a state of potential until they are observed or measured, our reality too exists in a state of infinite potential, waiting to be shaped by our thoughts and beliefs. When we hold on to an outdated identity, we limit our perception of reality. We see the world through a narrow lens, colored by past experiences and beliefs that no longer serve us. This distorted perception keeps us trapped in a cycle of repetition, where we continue to experience the same struggles, frustrations, and disappointments, believing that this is the only reality available to us. The identity we carry becomes a filter through which we process everything that happens in our lives. If that filter is based on outdated beliefs, it creates a reality that reflects those beliefs. A reality that is stagnant, limited, and resistant to change. Think about it. How often do we find ourselves in situations that feel familiar, as if we've been there before? How many times do we repeat patterns or behaviors that we know aren't serving us? This is the power of an outdated identity. It keeps us locked in a loop of our own making, unable to break free and create something new. And the most frustrating part is that we often don't realize it's happening. We are so used to seeing the world through the lens of our old identity that we don't recognize the possibilities for change and growth that are right in front of us. This is where the concept of shifting your identity comes into play. The idea that you are not bound by your past, your history, or the version of yourself that you've held onto for so long. In fact, your identity is not a static, unchanging thing. It is fluid, evolving, and constantly influenced by your thoughts, beliefs, and experiences. You have the power to update it, to shift it in any direction you choose. The key to unlocking a new reality is realizing that you don't have to be the person you were yesterday, you can choose to be someone different today. Updating your identity is not about denying who you were or pretending that your past never happened. It's about recognizing that the person you were yesterday is not the person you are today, and it certainly isn't the person you have to be tomorrow. The past doesn't define you, nor does it limit you. Your past is simply a collection of experiences that have shaped you, but it doesn't determine your future. In fact, your future is entirely in your hands. You have the power to create the person you want to be, starting right now. When you shift your identity, you shift your perception of the world. You begin to see opportunities where once you saw obstacles, possibilities where you once saw limitations. The old identity that was holding you back dissolves, and in its place, a new version of yourself emerges, a version that is aligned with your highest potential, your deepest desires, and your true purpose. This new identity is not a mask you wear or a role you play. It is the real you, the version of yourself that was always there, waiting to be revealed. To truly understand how identity shapes reality, let's look at the concept of manifestation. Manifestation is not just about wishing for something and hoping it magically appears. It's about aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the reality you want to create. And your identity plays a crucial role in this process. If your identity is built around limiting beliefs and negative self-perceptions, you will continue to attract experiences that reflect those beliefs. On the other hand, if you update your identity to one that is aligned with your highest potential, you begin to attract experiences that reflect your true desires. The process of quantum manifestation works in much the same way. In quantum physics, the observer effect tells us that the act of observation can influence the outcome of a situation. When we observe an object or a particle, we collapse its potential state into a specific reality. Similarly, when we focus our attention on a specific version of ourselves, a version that is aligned with our true desires, we begin to collapse the infinite possibilities of our reality into a new experience, one that matches our updated identity. The key to this process is belief. When you believe that you are worthy of success, love, and abundance, you begin to shift your energy to match that belief. The energy you put out into the world is what you attract back. This is the foundation of manifestation. What you believe, you create. If you believe that you are stuck in a cycle of struggle, you will continue to experience that reality. But if you believe that you are capable of change, of growth, and of creating the life you desire, your reality will begin to shift to reflect those beliefs. This is why it's so important to update your identity. When you change the way you see yourself, you change the way the world sees you. Your external reality is a mirror of your internal beliefs. If you believe you are deserving of a successful career, healthy relationships, and financial abundance, the world will reflect those beliefs back to you. The people you meet, the opportunities you encounter, and the experiences you have will all align with the new version of yourself that you've become. But how do you update your identity? How do you shift from an outdated, limiting version of yourself to one that is aligned with your highest potential? The first step is awareness. You must become aware of the beliefs and stories that are holding you back. These may be beliefs that were formed in childhood, beliefs that were instilled by others, or beliefs that you've adopted over time based on your experiences. Take some time to reflect on the way you view yourself. What are the stories you tell yourself about who you are? What beliefs do you hold about your abilities, your worth, and your potential? Once you identify these limiting beliefs, the next step is to challenge them. Are these beliefs really true? Or are they simply a reflection of past experiences that no longer apply to who you are today? Ask yourself, what would be possible if I let go of these beliefs? Who could I become if I believed in my limitless potential? The process of challenging your beliefs is not about denying your past. It's about releasing the hold your past has on you so that you can step into the person you are meant to be. The next step is to create new beliefs that align with the person you want to become. This is where quantum manifestation becomes truly powerful. When you shift your beliefs, you shift your energy, and when your energy shifts, your reality shifts. Start by affirming the new version of yourself. Use affirmations to reinforce the beliefs that align with your highest potential. I am worthy of success. I am capable of achieving my goals. I am aligned with my true purpose. These affirmations help reprogram your subconscious mind and create new neural pathways that support your updated identity. Another powerful tool in updating your identity is visualization. Take time each day to visualize the person you want to become. See yourself living the life you desire, feeling the emotions of success, love, and abundance. The more vividly you can imagine this future version of yourself, the more real it becomes in your mind. As you visualize, allow yourself to feel the emotions associated with this version of yourself. The confidence, the joy, the peace. This emotional alignment is key to shifting your energy and attracting the reality you want. In the process of updating your identity, remember that it takes time. The shift may not happen overnight, but with consistent effort and belief, the transformation will come. Be patient with yourself and trust the process. As you continue to shift your identity, you will notice subtle changes in your life. New opportunities, new connections, and new experiences that reflect the person you are becoming. And over time, the reality you've always dreamed of will unfold before you. Your identity is not fixed. It is not a set of rigid labels or beliefs that define you. It is fluid, ever-changing, and constantly evolving. You have the power to update it at any moment, to create the person you want to become, and to shift your reality to match that vision. The only limit is the one you place on yourself. The key is to let go of the old beliefs and stories that no longer serve you, and to embrace the truth of who you truly are. You are limitless, powerful, and capable of creating the life you desire. All you have to do is choose to step into it. At some point in life, we all experience a shift. A moment where the status quo feels off, like something deep inside us knows we're meant for more. This is what we call spiritual awakening. The moment when we begin to recognize that the life we've been living, with all its routines, expectations, and limitations, is no longer aligned with our true purpose. It's like waking up from a long, deep sleep, suddenly aware of how much more there is to the world than what we've been seeing. We realize that the person we've been up until now is not the person we are meant to be, and that realization can stir up a whirlwind of emotions: excitement, fear, confusion, and even sadness. It's a spiritual rebirth, but with it comes the discomfort of change. During this awakening, we become more attuned to the subtle forces around us, the energies that shape our lives and the connections that bind us to something greater than ourselves. This is when the old identity, which we've carried for so long, begins to feel restrictive. We start to question everything: our beliefs, our purpose, our worth. We begin to see the gaps between who we've been and who we know we could be. And the truth is, this gap is where the transformation happens. It's in this moment of discomfort, this space between the old self and the new self, that we have the greatest opportunity for growth. The key to navigating this moment is to realize that spiritual awakening isn't about rejecting the old self. It's about understanding that the old self has served its purpose. It has brought us to this point, but it can no longer take us to the next level. The old identity was built on the foundations of past experiences, old beliefs, and survival mechanisms we developed to get through difficult times. It's been shaped by fear, doubt, and limiting thoughts. But as we awaken, we begin to sense that there's more to us than these old beliefs. More to us than the fears and limitations that have defined our lives up until now. This is where the real work begins. Recognizing that our true self has always been there, just waiting to emerge. But it can only do so if we're willing to let go of the old identity and the stories we've been telling ourselves. Letting go is not an easy process. We're often so attached to the version of ourselves that we've created that it feels like a loss when we try to release it. We fear the unknown and what might happen if we no longer identify with the person we've always been. But in reality, letting go is the most liberating thing we can do. It's the key to unlocking a new version of ourselves. One that is free from the limitations of the past and aligned with our highest potential. The process of letting go begins with awareness. We have to become aware of the old identity and the ways it keeps us stuck. It's not always obvious at first. We may have built an entire life around this identity: our job, our relationships, our habits. All of it has been shaped by the beliefs we hold about ourselves. But once we begin to awaken, we start to see the cracks in this foundation. We notice that certain patterns keep repeating, certain relationships feel draining, and certain experiences no longer bring us joy or fulfillment. These are signs that the old identity is no longer serving us. It's time for change. One of the biggest challenges we face during this process is overcoming the fear of stepping into the unknown. The fear of change is rooted in the ego, the part of us that clings to familiarity and comfort, even if it's not in our best interest. The ego wants to keep us safe, and it believes that the old identity is the safest thing we can hold on to. But in truth, it's the ego that keeps us trapped in a cycle of limitation, preventing us from embracing our true potential. The first step in releasing the old self is to acknowledge the fear, but not let it control us. Fear is a natural part of the process, but it doesn't have to dictate our decisions. As we begin to step into the unknown, we often experience a sense of inner conflict. The old self pulls us back, reminding us of all the reasons why we should stay where we are. But the new self, the higher self, calls us forward, urging us to trust the process and embrace the change. This is the moment of transition, the moment where we must choose which path to follow. It's in these moments of inner conflict that the transformation takes place. Every time we choose to move forward, to trust in the unknown, we reinforce our new identity. And with every step we take in alignment with our higher self, we begin to reshape our reality. It's important to understand that spiritual awakening and identity transformation are not a one-time event, they are an ongoing process. Awakening happens in layers, like peeling back the layers of an onion. Each layer reveals a deeper level of truth, a deeper connection to who we truly are. But this process can be uncomfortable. As we peel away the old identity, we may uncover hidden fears, insecurities, and unresolved emotions that need to be healed. These can be uncomfortable to face, but they are essential to the transformation. The more we heal these wounds, the more we release the old self and step into the truth of who we are. One of the most significant aspects of spiritual awakening is the realization that we are not our thoughts, our beliefs, or our emotions. We are the awareness behind them. The mind often wants to identify with the past, with the stories we've been telling ourselves, but the truth is, these stories are not who we are. We are infinite beings, constantly evolving and expanding. When we awaken to this truth, we begin to detach from the old identity and the limiting beliefs that have held us back. We stop identifying with the old self and start embracing the new self, the self that is aligned with our soul's purpose. As we awaken, we also begin to recognize that we are not separate from the world around us. We are all connected, and the energy we put out into the universe directly impacts our reality. This awareness shifts our entire perspective on life. We begin to see that the world is not something outside of us, something to be feared or controlled. Instead, it is a reflection of who we are on the inside. When we change our inner state, our beliefs, our thoughts, and our emotions, we change the outer world we experience. This is where the magic of quantum manifestation comes into play. As we update our identity and align with our higher self, we begin to attract new experiences that reflect the truth of who we are. But awakening is not just about personal transformation. It's about stepping into our role in the larger tapestry of life. As we awaken to our true nature, we become more attuned to the needs of others and the world around us. We begin to realize that our journey is not just for ourselves, it's for the collective. The transformation we undergo serves not only our highest good but also the highest good of all. This awareness propels us into action, encouraging us to live with purpose and to contribute to the healing and growth of the world. In the midst of spiritual awakening, it's easy to feel lost or unsure of what comes next. We may feel disconnected from the world or uncertain about our next steps. But this feeling of uncertainty is part of the process. It's a sign that we are in the process of shedding the old and stepping into the new. And while it may feel uncomfortable at times, it's important to trust the journey. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a step toward aligning with our true self and the life we are meant to live. As you go through this process of awakening and transformation, remember that you are not alone. Everyone on this journey is experiencing their own version of this shift. The discomfort, the fear, and the uncertainty are all part of the process, but so is the beauty, the growth, and the joy that comes with it. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be, and know that each moment is an opportunity to choose the higher path, one that aligns with your soul's purpose and brings you closer to the person you are meant to become.